Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Adab. This is Urs, and you're watching Our Canada, Our Home on Rawal TV. We're back with a new show, and today our guest on the show is Sukhjit Singh, who is RBC's top 25 Canadian immigrants. Excited to have you on the show. Thank you very much, Sukhjit ji.
Thank you very much, Urzi. Assalamu alaikum to you. Assalamu alaikum, Adab, to all of your viewers. And I'm very honored to be here with you and talk to you about my success journey.
Well, I'm really excited to have you, and I'm excited that we can share your story to many who are watching here. You are someone who has come to Canada as a new immigrant 4 years ago in 2009.
Yes, exactly.
And there are many who've come and they haven't succeeded as much as I've seen you succeed. And you've succeeded, I think, in my opinion, is because you've learnt about Canada, you've jumped in, you've integrated, you've been involved, and you've taken advantage of whatever you could that Canada has to offer. So that's just the nutshell, but we're gonna ask you to maybe just sort of talk a little bit about your journey. So where did it start?
Well, it's very interesting, and to tell you the truth, whatever you have mentioned, it is right. I did learn, I'm still learning, and I did try my best, and I'm still trying, but I'm succeeding also. So this actually is very interesting fact that I wanted to come to Canada as a student in year 97, 98, when I didn't get my visa. And then I gave up on Canada.
So you were in Punjab, India, right?
I was in Punjab. I was doing my first job after graduation. I was there, and I'm from north part of India, which is, and originally, my grandparents are from Pakistan. They are from Santnagar, Lahore.
Oh, very
yes,
nice.
That is my father's side.
Lots of our Punjabi brothers and sisters were from Pakistan before the partition. My dad was actually from India,
wow,
from Jalandhar.
Look at that.
He was born in Jalandhar, and then after the partition, he moved over. Mm-hmm. My grandparents were from Amritsar.
Wow.
And they moved over. So, I mean, this is what happened during the partition. People just moved over.
I know. So, Punjabis are very famous to go somewhere. So every household in Punjab, and especially North India, they have somebody somewhere else in the world. So being from that state, that was there, that I have to go somewhere else to learn more, to earn more. And then that unsuccessful attempt to come to Canada as a student made me to think, like, I will never go to Canada. Like, if Canada doesn't need me, I'm not going there. Instead of Canada, I got there was a job which I accepted that offer, and I moved to Muscat, beautiful coastal country. Muscat is capital of Sultanate of Oman, where I was hired by a university, Scottish University. They had a campus, like they have affiliation and campus in Muscat. So I started as a computer instructor there, and I worked with them for 9 years, and then I also graduated. They sponsored my studies, higher studies also, and then I finished my MBA and moved from one step to another step. And then when I left in 2009, I was assistant professor there, teaching computer engineering subjects, management, and doing a lot more than what a regular teacher will do, regular professor will do. And then it's interesting, as as I just mentioned, that I gave up Canada. I had no plan, but when I went to that university, we had staff from Canada, from America, from England, and I had a very good friendship with them. And then they kept telling me, Canada is a country for you, you should move. And I still remember a wonderful person, wonderful friend of mine, her name is Julie, and then she told me beautiful things about Canada. It was, I believe, just second year of my stay in Muscat, and then she gave me Canadian flag also, with those pins, from every province. And then she said, Canada is a place for you, you will have a lot of opportunities. I didn't pay attention. I kept listening to whatever she was saying and my other friends were saying. And as I said, that was a very multicultural university where we had staff and students from 35 different countries. And we spoke more than 10 languages in the same campus. It was more than a dozen languages we spoke. And I worked with some projects there for integration of students coming from different countries, staff coming from different countries. So then I got married. Then somehow again going somewhere else, that bug was bothering me. And then I spoke to my wife and I said, why don't we try to go to Canada? We applied in that process because I applied under skilled category. So in due process, our daughter was also born. So then we three were there in wait, and then I knew that I'm going to a different country, and then I started searching about Canada before even coming to Canada.
Which is a smart thing to do, because sometimes people, they apply, they know they're coming to Canada, but they have no idea what to expect in Canada.
But to tell you the truth, I think I was spending most of my time online whenever I got time. Reading online forums, checking all the websites, and in fact I printed some forms also, like SIM card for health card. I printed those forms to see what it is actually. That was quite helpful. And then time came, I have to resign from the job, and then I took 3 months break before coming to Canada. And I also did a program which is funded by federal government. So I left Muscat, went to India in month of July 2009, and then in August I attended this 2-day orientation program, which is a Canadian immigration integration project.
And this was in India?
This was in India. They are running this program in 35 different countries as for now. So and that also was a website link, and then I just went from one link to another link, and where it said, prepare before you go. So I did that 2-day program, which actually changed my perception. Whatever I was preparing, learning through websites and all that, because there was a real person who was teaching, who was telling us about Canada. They showed the full video from landing, then how to proceed. And they were talking so much about like how to be successful in Canada. So, you are in that mindset of going to a different country, excited.
So you prepared,
listen,
you researched.
You do everything, but reality is always different.
It's always different, but at least it's a softer blow when you actually come. You still know some stuff, but you still have to experience certain things.
That's true.
So you came to Canada.
I came to Canada. In fact, this September, on 18th of September, we'll be celebrating our 4th year anniversary in Canada. So,
Very nice.
from very recent immigrant, I'm now recent immigrant. This is always I say. So 4 years I'm finishing. We are finishing here in Canada. So then I moved, and when we landed, we were prepared exactly the way it was told. Like, you have to have your papers in order. And actually, we always remember our landing for good reasons. For reason one, we were prepared, and the immigration officer was very impressed, saying like, "How did you do this? Like, every single paper is in order. Like,
wow.
Things we were bringing." If there was any stuff with us, it is on the list, and things which were to follow, it was also on the list. It didn't take long. We were very happy.
I'm sure the border people were very happy that you had everything in order, because that's probably not the case otherwise.
I can tell you the way this guy was telling us, like, wow, everything is in order. Like, then I realized, I was just looking at my wife and said, look, we did it. Like, we knew that we will do it and everything will be fine. The best next thing which touched us was Potter we hired. You know what? Without asking a single question, he just gave us a phone and said, "Welcome to Canada. Call if you want to call someone." I said, "Oh, wow, you're in a strange country. It's a strange country." And then unknown person.
Use your phone.
Use your phone. So I knew that my friend is there to pick me up, to put us somewhere else. Then I called him, and then, I just was talking to him using his cell phone. This guy was not around, and I was really touched by this gesture. Like, strange country, you don't know anyone, and this guy gave phone to you. So we spoke. I spoke through his phone. I still carry the small bill he gave, because that is the only memory. And I tried to say thank you. Whenever I get a chance, I go and check if I see him around. So that was the first thing which happened to us, and we were very happy.
Very nice. Well, we're going to pause for a commercial break. We're going to come back and continue your story, your inspiring story of how you came here, how you integrated, and we'll come right back. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Our Canada, Our Home. I'm your host, Heer. We are talking to Sukhjit Singh, who is one of RBC's top 25 Canadian immigrants. Before the break, he was sharing his story of before he got to Canada up to the point when he got to Canada. Sukhjit, we want you to continue that story. So now you're here. You have connected with the person who's picking you up. Tell us more.
And then because my daughter was small, she was not even 2, and I'm originally from India, as I said. Parents are very particular about going to a different country, and then they said, you're not going to stay in a hotel. They arranged our stay with someone.
The people that you connected with?
Yes,
okay.
With someone, and they said, you can stay there for a month or whatever you like. But as soon as we went to their house from the airport, and it was a senior couple, we are still in touch with them, and they are my mentors also. So we stayed there, like we were very tired. I still remember the third day when the real fear kicked in, because I saw Mississauga transit bus. And then I said, oh God, how I'm going to board this bus? And then remember, a grown-up man is afraid of one thing. I was not worried about job at that time. The only thing is, because I never boarded bus before coming to Canada, like for at least 12 years, no bus. So there was only one thing which myself and my wife decided. What we will do is, if I board the bus, go to point A and come back, we are success. I did the same thing. It was a funny experience, but I did board a bus, went to point A, came back home safely. I actually called from that point A that I am successful. And then
hats off to you, because my brother, when we went to Pakistan, came back, he'd grown up mostly in Pakistan, but we tried to encourage him to use the bus, and his first trip was sort of like a roundabout trip, and it never really got him to where he needed to go, and he never took the bus after that. So, but congratulations to you.
Thank you. I actually learned a good deal there also when I traveled. So, and we always come with a list of people whom we call. That was not very successful. Then I told my wife, I said, Daman, it's not going to work.
Nobody was picking up the phone?
They were picking, but the response was something else, which was not, I won't say welcoming, because they were in their own word and I was in my own word.
Yeah.
So it was only 7 days we stayed, and in the meantime I rented a place, and we just moved.
Yeah.
And then the real Canadian picture of what is out there, how you get there, and all that stuff came to kick in. And then suddenly I realized that my resume is not working. Nothing is working. Even the way I was talking.
Were you hoping to get a job within the first week that you got there?
Before that, to tell you the truth, I had my internet fixed within 10 days when we moved, and everything was in order, and I was sending my resume, but there was no response. I was told, before coming to Canada, that it won't happen, but reality is again different. Then you think that you are there, you should get that. But luckily, my brain again worked in a beautiful way, because again, I always say thanks to those who supported me, and they are still supporting me. They said, Sukhjit, you have to work on these things. And then quickly I joined a program which was funded by federal government. It was 3 weeks program. And I quickly realized day one I realized that whatever I was doing is utter mistake. It is totally wrong. Don't do it. I stopped myself. I said,
so what was the wrong part of, what were you doing wrong?
Wrong means even though they told me, every website told me 2 pages resume, my thing was 5-page resume. I was so proud of my education.
Nobody has time to flip past the second.
No. And I was not in terms of agreeing on this, that, this is my proud. This is what I have done in 10 years.
So hard to take it off your resume because you did it. You want to show it off.
Yes. And it didn't work. But then I quickly realized that this is not the way. There was one thing which I always share at every moment, because when people tell you, most of the time you listen, but you don't pay attention. But there are few things you always pay attention. And this happened to me. When I was in the workshop, every single day, this facilitator will tell me, who's a good friend of mine now, that, Canada is a place where sky is the limit and opportunities are endless, but it is a jungle. You need to have right tools. So by the second week, I knew that what is wrong and how to correct it. They helped me in doing that. But there was one word which every and now and then it will come up, and that word was volunteer work. And I always didn't pay attention to only this word, which was, I won't work for free.
Well, it's hard when you come to a new country and you have a family to feed.
Yes.
How do you think about volunteer when you got to put bread on the table, bread and butter on the table?
That's true.
You got to work, bring money home, and buy groceries to feed your family.
I know. But ultimately what happened is I was looking for a job. I bought my first hard-toed shoes also. Everything. I was ready for anything.
Even though you were a university professor in Muscat,
yes.
You came from a very educational sort of background, working for how many years there?
Almost 10 years.
10 years as a university professor. You were willing and ready and prepared to put on your steel-toed boots and work in the factory.
Yes,
or work
I was ready because I knew my money was running out. I was very short. But then what happened is, again, those people with whom I was chatting on daily basis, those were people who were like me, who came to Canada. They were all immigrant. And somehow I had something to give to them. That was information. They were always confused, like, we are in this situation. Remember I said I did my online search, I attended this orientation, and I had information to share. So they were saying, how do you know all this? I said, it is on website. Here is a website. This is where you go if you need this information. I was talking about more of settlement. So what happened in due time, somehow I said, let me try this volunteer thing. So next shock came to me that if you want to apply, you actually have to apply like you're applying for a job. And then again, that thing kicks in and it says, Sukhjit, for a volunteer position which is not paid and which may be not for even 7 days, which can be only for 1 hour. But somehow I was convinced by reading by mentors that I have to try. And through a wonderful agency, I was connected with one job posting, which was exactly what I was doing, which was to facilitate those who have no knowledge about computers. And that position I applied. I got my first volunteer position at YMCA Employment Resource Center in Mississauga. My whole perspective, my whole thing changed about it, because the first day I went there, I wore my best suit in tie. I was there early, I taught, and I was flying after finishing that class. That thankfully I am doing what I wanted to do. But in the meantime, there are other words, networking, Canadian workplace, and all that stuff.
Which people don't quite get, it's very important to volunteer because you're gaining some skill set, Canadian experience. Even if it's not paid, you're still gaining that Canadian experience, which you need as a newcomer in order to get a job, because a lot of workplaces will say, you've got a great resume, but there's no Canadian experience. So you get that. How do you get that Canadian experience? If nobody's willing to hire you, you start volunteering. And you get that experience, that Canadian experience, by volunteering.
And to tell you the truth, now I realize it was not Canadian work experience. Actually, it is an environment where you feel that you are a fit. Because, I love snow, first of all. But then I knew not many people love snow. So instead of saying that I love...
You've lived here for 25, 30, 40 years, and you're not going to like snow too much.
But it is a context, like the way you speak, the way you approach and all that stuff. I was a very fast talker. Like the way I'm talking now, it is actually my script told me to slow down, which was not Sukhjit earlier. So few things which I picked, and there was something like networking, there was something like give back.
So just on the networking part, so now once you volunteer, you're getting that experience, but you're right, networking is so important even for people who are born Canadians who are looking for jobs. That's how you can in many situations, get your job, through networking, through the people that you know. And it's not like the desi context of safarish, just go aap jante hain, you know, you get a job through the people that you know. It's because when people know you personally, it adds another level of contact. So you can give your resume to somebody and they read it and you're just another resume. But when people know you and they see how you interact and they understand your background and what you've done and where you are, then that holds more value, I think, than just the resume.
That's very true. You're very right in saying about desi concept of networking. I still remember my first job in India was my father picked up the phone and he said, here is my son, interview him. If he's good, hire him. And actually it happened. Like they interviewed me and that's
how it happens over there. I'm gonna just pause right here because we have another commercial break and we're getting into the juicy part, I feel like. So do stay tuned. We're gonna come right back after the break.
Sure.
Welcome back to Our Canada, Our Home. I'm Heer and we are with Sukhjit Singh, who's RBC's top 25 Canadian immigrants. Excited to hear about your story. Your story is just so intriguing and interesting. And I know that many people who have come to Canada have had similar experiences, you know, similar challenges when they come, they've landed, you know, they're looking for work and they're trying to raise a family. So I think there are many who can relate to your story from our viewers. I'm going to ask you to just continue from where you left off.
Sure. Then quickly what happened is I got addicted to volunteer work and then I applied at another place. They just quickly had a look on my resume and said, can you do this? I said, why not? So it was a job to manage their database. So I started there, and with that came to me as a blessing and surprise, because they said, you know, we'll pay some money, even though you're a volunteer, but you're doing good work. So we'll pay some money. And there actually I was able to apply my transferable skills. So when I realized what are my skills with help of my mentors, I quickly knew that these are 1 to 10 things I can do wonderfully. And right at the spot, after 6 months, April 6th, I got my first paid job. And my first paid job was not in the university.
So you came in September and it took about 6 months for you to get...
It took exactly 6 months, and 6th of April, I got my first break in Canada. That too not in my field, but now it is my field. It came to a non-profit, and my first job title was settlement worker in one of the non-profit organization, a leading non-profit organization in Mississauga. And interestingly, after spending some time in that sector, I proudly can share with viewers and with your audience that I did make some good efforts to make these services reachable to those who are looking for. I myself, other than job, I volunteer and I volunteer a lot. And then, you know, because most of the non-profits jobs are funded, funding goes and it comes, you know, and then again, for a short time, I was away from this organization, worked for 2 or 3 different organizations for short-term contracts. I'm back with a new program. My passion to help newcomers didn't fade. Like a single inch, it didn't fade. It grew. It is still growing, and I'm making all those efforts to reach out to those who cannot come to me, and I am involved in...
You know, that's interesting that you said that, and I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you're trying to get through your story, but there are a lot of people that will not go outside of their comfort zone. You know, they have their home, they have their TV, they have their, you know, few friends, and that's where they're comfortable, but they don't want to break outside of that and find out what services there are. So that's interesting that you said that you're willing to help those that won't come to you. You're going to them.
This is what I do. This is because now it's not only my full-time job, now it is my passion also, because I still see there is a lot of need out there. And, you know, I try my best, whatever mean it is, and through this channel also, thanks to you, you know, somehow somebody will get back to me on this. And I don't have anything beyond that. If this is what I say, I want to help, I help in all aspects, because I play different roles in other non-profit organizations. So I come as a package. Like if they need employment, I can help on that. If they need settlement, I can help. I serve some online groups also. Now my scope is a little bit beyond that because I volunteer. As I said, there are a few organizations which I do want to mention where I volunteer. A volunteer MBC, Interfaith Council, and we had a very beautiful conference for all interfaith leaders from all leaders from different faith. They came. And then I am also on parent PIC, which is Peel District School Board Parent Involvement Committee, and I'm a speaker at Historica Dominion Institute also, and I'm also involved in a small business task group with Ministry of Labor, and that came to me as a surprise. Like they want to outreach to those who cannot read or who if they don't have access to the certain things in employment, in labor, like rules and regulations. So I do that. I don't stop. Like if I have reached this stage, it doesn't mean that is my comfort zone. No, I keep looking for where I can contribute, and I keep doing that. And I now spread the message also. And I also keep connecting. I'm blessed, to tell you the truth. एक हमारी सारी community India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, जो भी हो, ये जो सारा आप मैप देखेंगे ना तो ध्यान से हमारा सबका दिमाग एक ही तरह काम करता है. Our thinking is same, right? That thinking is beautiful. We help, but we help in our own comfort zone. What I did, I said, let me try something else. So that comfort zone, उसी comfort zone से मैंने बाहर पैर रखा. जब बाहर पैर रखा तो then those dots connected with so many things. Yeah. So now I see I can serve my own community and community at large, which is anyone from any country, speak any different language, I can serve them, right? And my mentors, my connections help them to serve me better also. So, with this RBC Top 25, now I have more responsibility because this is the title. अभी आपने आपको उनको खिताब.
So there were so many, just to give a little background on the RBC Top 25 new Canadian immigrants. There are many immigrants that apply. And you apply and you have to justify why you qualify to be a top Canadian immigrant. And you know, people have different varying experiences, but only 25 are chosen.
Oh yes, I was even, you know, it's actually nominations first, and then out of thousands nomination they pick 75. There is a panel of judges. This is what they mentioned to me. Then panel of judges will do the scrutiny, and then your name is announced. First of all, the nomination thing, I don't know who did, but I came to know because last year I had this idea about, because you know, as newcomer, I read magazines, I read whatever is available out there in the community. So that is a process, and then online voting, and then you know, when I saw my name in 75, I was like, because every single profile I clicked, I said, I'm a small kid, I just born, and your name is there. And then when online voting happened, you know, when you are in, then you also have to make efforts. So I did make efforts to reach out to everyone. And then it was, I am still not in terms of, you know, believing this. It's huge. I think this year I was the youngest one there in terms of just 4 years, and I got this award. But blessed, I was among those who actually contributed and contributing to Canada from last more than 30 or 40 years. So when you stand among them, you know, that is a blessing for me. And I was really thanking every single person. I still thank every single person who actually contributed in my success. And as I said, abhi mere pe aur responsibility hai. I have to live up to this standard and serve more and serve more and serve more. And this is the message I'm spreading through different channels also. Because if I can do, मैं तो देसी भाषा में बोलूँ बहुत नलायक बंदा हूँ. अगर एक नलायक बंदा ये कर सकता है तो बहुत होशियार लोग हैं बैठे. मैं तो I just want to elevate. मेरा अगर खुदा मेरे को, अगर भगवान मेरे को इतनी ताकत दे और इतने रिसोर्सेज दे देना, तो मैं वही बोलता हूँ ना, एक नलायक बंदा कर सकता है तो बहुत होशियार बंदे बैठे हैं. आपके ऑडियंस में कितने वंडरफुल लोग हैं, सभी वंडरफुल लोग हैं. They can also do it if I can do it. I simply say that.
And that's why we have you here, because you know, you've done so much and you've achieved so much, and you know, we hope that you will inspire many others, hopefully watching the show, even those that you touch your life, you touch so people, many people's lives around you. And you know, it's those interactions that actually make the difference and build a better world. So you know, we help each other. We help each other grow and be successful, and you know, that's how we'll succeed as a community, as Canadians.
That's very true. And to tell you the truth, one of my role models is you also. Yes, because you know, you look at those who came, succeeded, and who are like me. When I say like me, like we are from different countries, but we are. मैं तो उसको गुलदस्ता बोलता हूँ. मैंने पीछे भी इंटरव्यू में ऐसे बोला था. एक गुलदस्ता है. गुलदस्ते में आप 12 रंग देख लोगे, 10 रंग, 20 रंग देख लोगे. बट कनाडा जो गुलदस्ता है ना, उसमें अनलिमिटेड कलर्स हैं. सो उस कलर में अगर आपको शाइन करना है तो वो करना है जो रियल कनेडियन चीज़ें हैं. उसको सीखिए. अपने जो आप अपना कल्चर है उसको रिस्पेक्ट दीजिए. उसको भी सीखना ज़रूरी है. लेकिन जो यहाँ पे है, दिस इज़ माई होम नाउ. सो आई हैव टू डू व्हाट माई होम सेज टू डू. सो बस वही मैं ऊपर वाला करवाता है और मैं वो करता हूँ जी.
बिल्कुल. Well, thank you very much for the compliment and for sharing that guldasta example. I like it. We're going to pause for another break. We're going to come back and continue the conversation, so stay tuned. Welcome back to our Canada Hour home. I'm Heer. We are with Sukhjit Singh, who's a RBC Top 25 Canadian immigrant, and you've shared a lot of information as far as your background, where you started, when you came here, some of the challenges, some of the opportunities, leading up to you getting the award. And you're still learning. You say that, you've researched, you've learned a lot, you're still learning. So let's pick it up from this point. So there are many viewers out there who, some are new immigrants, but some have been here for a while. Their kids are born here. They might be going to school or college or university. Maybe they haven't aspired to do so much in the beginning like you did, but maybe they're at a point in their life where they want to contribute. I know there's many people out there that have raised the kids, have been there, done that. Now they want to make a difference. So let's talk about how people can make that difference.
Sure.
Contribute. Maybe not in a big way. You don't have to be Mother Teresa, but you can do something small.
That's true. Well, I'm now in a position to tell you, because now I've finished my 3 years of Canadian work experience, which was a challenge when I started. For every single person who is on this earth, and especially in Canada, there is an opportunity to give back. You, woman, youth, immigrant, or those who are settled here. And the core Canadian belief and core Canadian value, one of that is volunteerism. It not only helps you to give back, it also helps you to learn. Say for an example, if a person who is not so new, but he or she came and went to the circle of job, home, job, home, job, home, and that circle, but never thought about what else to give back, right? So for that, there are a lot of opportunities. My first suggestion and my only suggestion is, when you decide to do this, ask someone that what is the best fit, because there are some organizations who can actually help. There are some websites who can help. Like if I say I don't speak English, what else? Like if I don't speak English, or आपको you will be surprised, and I am sure you know this also, and audience also know. अगर आपको English नहीं भी आती ना, तो there are certain organizations where you can work as a volunteer. So if you don't know, then again, हम जैसे I am in a non-profit sector, ask anyone, ask 1, 2, 3, and you will definitely get an answer. हमारे पास हमारे उर्दू की कितनी अखबारें हैं, उसमें कुछ ना कुछ एडवर्टाइजमेंट जरूर आती है कि यहाँ वॉलंटियर कीजिए, यह अपॉर्चुनिटी है. और एज आई लिव इन मिसिसागा, सिटी ऑफ मिसिसागा की जो वेबसाइट है, उसमें अगर आप जाएं तो वहाँ पे भी वॉलंटियर के कितने रिसोर्सेज हैं. इट गिव्स यू मोर देन एनफ इन्फॉर्मेशन इन उर्दू, इन पंजाबी, इन हिंदी, इन ऑल लैंग्वेजेस. All prominent languages. You can go and ask, and if at all, first of all, you have to decide what you want to do. But if you are not in position, then there are organizations and individuals who can help you to decide. और उसमें क्या होता है, हर एक की नीड अलग अलग है. As a newcomer, मेरी नीड ये थी कि मेरे को I was looking for a job. But instead of, while I was looking for a job, I also got to know few things which I was not aware of through volunteerism. तो मैं ये चाहता हूँ, whatever is your need, based on that need you can decide what you have to do. And then if it is volunteerism at a women center, वहाँ पे कीजिए. अगर आपको बच्चों के साथ खेलना अच्छा लगता है तो then family literacy में चले जाइए, region of Peel वो करवाता है. I mean, बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं, राइट? और हर एक एज ग्रुप, हर एक कैटेगरी के लिए वो अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं. And then again, as I said, कि organizations हैं which can help them in actually matching with what you are looking for and do it. And again, based on your need. If you are an immigrant, if you want to learn something new, and I say, मेरे एक बहुत अच्छे दोस्त ने बोला था, सुखजीत, I restarted my computer when I came to Canada. And वो मैंने चीज़ पकड़ ली. And then I also say कि I came from Muscat and I was a teacher. I was very much into multicultural environment. And I was
What were you teaching, by the way?
Computers and management.
Okay.
Yes, computer and management subjects. And then later on, I was involved in health, safety, quality management. And one thing which actually paid off here in Canada, I was actually working on a component where we had staff and students from different countries coming to Muscat to study.
Okay.
And then I was working with then our associate dean to develop a module, to develop a program where we were telling about Islamic culture. And just imagine, it was me who was part of that orientation, and it was a English lady who was part of that, but we were telling about beautiful, rich Islamic culture in Muscat. So that was quite success, which actually paid here in Canada, because that became my transferable skills here in Canada. So, you know, because ये सारी बातें पहले पता नहीं होती कि what will work, what will not work. लोग बोलते हैं प्लान ए और बी रखो, मैं बोलता हूँ प्लान ए और बी नहीं, ये कनाडा है भाई, इसमें ए से जी तक रखो, फिर डबल ए से डबल जी तक रखो, वहीं पे स्टॉप मत हो, फिर ट्रिपल ए से ट्रिपल जी तक रखो. इतने प्लान रखो कि you will never be out of job, you will be never out of touch with anyone. एंड स्पेशली फिर वही बोलता हूँ, ये जो गुलदस्ता है इसको कायम रखने के लिए पानी चाहिए, और पानी भी वही चाहिए जो उस गुलदस्ते को कायम रख सके, उस किस्म का पानी चाहिए. तो अगर आपने नहीं सीखा है तो देन यू कैन लर्न दैट, यू नो. वो कभी सर्कल ऐसा जिंदगी का रहता है कि यू स्टार्ट एंड देन यू एंड एंड यू डोंट नो व्हाट यू हैव डन. तो इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू फर्स्ट रियलाइज कि यू नो यू आर इन अ डिफरेंट कंट्री. And if you have not learned it, learn as soon as possible कि actually Canada चाहता क्या है, Canada मांगता क्या है, society क्या चाहती है, community क्या चाहती है. You can even start in your own small crescent और अपना driveway में कुछ नई चीज़ start करके, you know, and all the time Central Library में चले जाइए, there is something happening, and learn from that. I did that and I'm still doing that.
So there's a conception from Canadians who are Caucasian Canadians or Canadians who are born here, that immigrants come to Canada but they can't speak English, they don't want to learn, they don't want to integrate, they go to their stores, their own stores, they speak their own language, they get what they need, they go to their own doctors, they speak their own language, they get the services that they need, and they never have to learn English or even learn about what it means to be Canadian. So that's a conception out there, and I think it's a reality for I don't know if it's a large but there is a demographic out there that have come from different countries, India, Pakistan, name it, and they haven't had, you know, if you're living in Peel, there are so many Desi stores, there's so many Desi doctors, even when you go to the hospital, you'll find a Desi. If you need to take the cab, you know, they're Desi. So you don't really have a driving need to learn the language, and therefore maybe not even integrate, because, you know, for some people, maybe they're not going to work, they're just going to be a housewife or a caregiver or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a very challenging question. I thought this interview will be easy, but I have one idea.
I had to throw one challenging question.
It just came now, because this is my success also, ideas. When I was listening to you, I am sitting in front of you. We need to produce more Heer. We need to produce more Sukhjit. When you see that, say आज मैं अंग्रेजी बोल रहा हूँ, मैं 10 साल पहले अंग्रेजी तो नहीं बोल पाता था, वो भी सीखी मैंने, right? Need, demand, उसकी वजह से. But when we have more role models from our own community, and then when we put them and showcase those role models in our community, they will leave a very good message. मैं तो यही चाहता हूँ जितने एम्बेसडर बन सकते हैं बनाइए अच्छी चीज़ों के लिए. like all religious organization or ethnic organization, वो अपने अपने सालों में तो सारा काम करते हैं, right? But there should be a platform where there is a showcase to the community. Community means हर एक बंदा वहाँ पे उसको, अगर यहाँ पे सेलिब्रेशन स्क्वायर में एक इवेंट होता है, वहाँ पे आपको एक ही तरह के चेहरे नजर आते हैं, अगर दूसरा इवेंट होता है तो दूसरी तरह के. बट इज देयर एनी इवेंट विच इज रियली वेयर वी शोकेस the ambassadors from small pockets who they did integrate, they did succeed, they did learn, and they did mention that to the other community members that this is how we did it. जैसे मैं बोल रहा था ना, एक छोटी सी क्रेसेंट ले लीजिए, आपके अगर नेबरहुड में 10 देसियों के घर हैं, 2 दूसरों के घर हैं, हाउ डू यू इंटीग्रेट? उसमें इंटीग्रेशन यही है, 2 लोगों के लिए बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा इंटीग्रेट करना. बट व्हाट यू डू टू शेयर योर virtue, to share your knowledge and to share your culture with them, to showcase that. अगर छोटा सा कोई ऐसा भी प्रोजेक्ट कोई कर ले तो that is it. Again, it comes from within. If you really want to do it, if you really want to do it, और उसका करने का यही तरीका है, ज़्यादा रोल मॉडल बनाइए, ज़्यादा रोल मॉडल community को दिखाइए, and this is how we will learn from each other.
And that's why we're here today. We have 30 seconds left on the show. Maybe you can share some final thoughts before we close.
As an immigrant, I will say this, that when you come, first you learn as soon as possible, right? उस framework से बाहर आइए, कुछ कंप्यूटर को रीस्टार्ट कीजिए और कुछ सीखिए what is required in order to succeed. And it can be a job, it can be volunteer opportunity, it can be anything, right? कंप्यूटर को रीस्टार्ट करके नया ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम डालिए, देन यू विल सी हाउ क्विकली यू विल सक्सीड एंड हाउ क्विकली यू विल इंटीग्रेट. एंड वन मैसेज विच आई डेफिनेटली वांट टू गिव टू योर व्यूअर्स इज गिव बैक. क्योंकि जैसे इस्लाम में ज़कात है, वैसे ही पंजाबी में सेवा है. वापस जरूर कम्युनिटी को दीजिए, एंड कम्युनिटी विल गिव बैक to you 1,000 times. This is what message I would like to
Definitely. Well, that's a very nice final thought. When you give, you get.
That's it.
So, thank you so much,
Sukhjit
Sukhjit. It was such a pleasure talking to you and having you share your story to our viewers. I thank our viewers for watching again this week. We look forward to being back again next week. Till then, have a great week. Take care.